Have you noticed how easy it is to believe that only big changes transform life? The truth is, that's just a comfortable illusion. What really decides the direction of the future are the small habits we repeat in silence, almost invisible. It's counterintuitive, I know, but while many wait for the big moment, the ones who learn to adjust details build results that later look like magic. Here's the paradox. It's not intensity that takes you far, it's consistency. A simple action today is worth more than a burst of effort that dies tomorrow. But almost no one talks about this because it's much more seductive to believe in shortcuts. The real reward shows up when you begin to see power in what looks insignificant. And that's exactly what I want to show you now. 10 small habits, almost hidden, but with the power to radically change your future. If you've always believed you needed a lot to transform your life, get ready. What you'll discover here can flip the switch in an unexpected way. Habit 1, the first choice that changes your morning. The alarm rings, and I don't reach for my phone. I stay quiet for a few seconds, listening to my own body waking up. I breathe deeply, feeling the air move slowly in and out without rushing. In that small space, I notice I don't need to react immediately to the world. Just being present already changes how I see the day. I get up without hurry, walk to the kitchen, and drink a glass of water. The silence is still there, and I let it stay with me. There are no notifications, no urgency, only the choice to start at my own rhythm. This choice looks simple, but it creates a calm state that protects me from the chaos that will come later. And when I finally look at the clock, I see that time hasn't run against me. It was me who set the tone. It's not about losing minutes, it's about gaining presence. Starting the day this way is not luxury. It's a decision. And that decision opens the door to something more important, choosing where to place my attention first before the world tries to steal it. Habit 2, the power of having just one priority. I wake up, take a deep breath, and look at the day ahead. Many things want my attention, but I choose to not carry them all at once. I take a piece of paper, hold a pen, and write down just one task, the one that will really make a difference today. In that instance, I feel the weight lift. The day no longer feels so confusing. There's a clear direction. As I move through the morning, that note stays with me. I don't need long lists. I don't need to drown in distractions. I just remind myself, this is what matters now. When I'm tempted to do 10 things at once, I reread what I wrote. That small choice pulls me back, like a compass pointing me toward where I need to go. Focus is born there, without exaggerated effort. In the end, I see it's not the number of tasks that defines my progress, but the clarity with which I move. Each day, one central decision pushes me forward. It's like training the mind to act without wasting energy. And when the night arrives, I know I didn't just run in circles. I did what was essential. That feeling creates space for something even bigger, learning consistency through small actions like daily reading that builds knowledge slowly but surely. Habit 3, how a few pages build a new you. I open a book without pressure about how many pages I'll finish. I read slowly, letting each sentence have space inside me. Sometimes it's 3 pages, sometimes less. And that's enough. It's not a race. It's a daily contact with ideas that, little by little, add up. This small act, repeated, creates more transformation than any marathon done once in a while. When I close the book, I feel that something was planted. Maybe a reflection, maybe just a single new word. What matters is that every day something enters and stays. Even if I only have 10 minutes, That gesture reminds me that knowledge doesn't need to arrive all at once. It grows quietly, almost without me noticing. With time, I see how these small readings start to change the way I think, the way I speak, the way I act. It's as if each page opens a small window in my view of the world. The sum of this habit builds something solid without exaggerated effort. And when I stopped thinking in quantity, I finally discovered the real power of consistency. The same power that pushes me to face uncomfortable challenges in daily life. Habit 4. Facing discomfort on purpose. I know when I'm avoiding an action. I feel my body step back, my mind creating excuses as if delaying is safer. That's the moment I choose to go against the instinct. I take the step that makes my stomach tight, even a small one, and let the discomfort happen. It's not easy, but every time I do this, I notice fear loses some of its strength over me. When I finish, the feeling is not perfection, but relief. It's like walking through a door I thought was locked and finding it was open the whole time. The more I train this, the more natural it becomes to face what once seemed impossible. Discomfort doesn't disappear, but it no longer dictates my choices. I begin to trust myself more than the barriers I create. And with this daily practice, life stops being an escape field and becomes a training ground. Each uncomfortable act shows me I'm not a prisoner of my insecurities. And when I lay my head on the pillow, I know I grew a little more than yesterday. That awareness prepares the ground for another powerful habit, revisiting the day in silence, noticing how these small movements transform the path. Habit 5, the night silence that shows who you are. When night comes, I choose to stop. I sit in a quiet corner and let the day play back in my mind like a movie. I don't try to justify anything. I just observe what I did well, what I could have done better, what I ignored. This moment doesn't need rush or judgment. It's simply a space to see more clearly who I'm becoming through my choices. I notice that when I review the day in silence, I find details I would have missed. A gesture of patience I didn't value before, a repeated mistake asking for attention. This practice builds an inner map, showing me where I keep repeating the same patterns and where I've already started to change. It's not about blame, it's about awareness. And the more I do this, the more I realize that living without this awareness is like walking in the dark. The daily review gives me light, even if faint, enough to guide the next step. It's not about chasing perfection, it's about recognizing movement. And in that recognition, the foundation appears for the next habit, taking care of the body, because without it, no progress lasts. Habit 6, minimal movement, maximum energy. During the day, I notice when my body starts to get heavy. My shoulders get stiff, my breathing shallow, my mind slower. That's when I decide to stand up, stretch my arms, walk a few minutes. It doesn't matter if it's quick or simple. The body reacts immediately. Movement wakes up energy that felt asleep, like opening a window and letting the air flow again. I don't need a crowded gym or expensive equipment. Just 10 minutes of attention to my body can shift my mental state. I can take the stairs, do a few squats, walk around the block. The effect is the same. The body reminds the mind it's alive, that there is strength available. That reminder makes all the difference when everything feels stuck. And when this habit repeats, the body is no longer a weight dragged by routine, but a present ally in every task. I feel that each small movement creates more clarity, more energy, more balance. And that balance prepares me for something deeper. Seeing life with simple gratitude, without waiting for big achievements to be the only source of happiness. Habit 7, the power of simple gratitude. At the end of the day, I take a piece of paper and write 1 or 2 things I'm grateful for. They're not grand achievements, but moments that could go unnoticed. A light conversation, a hot coffee, a quick smile on the street. When I write them down, I realize these details hold more value than they seemed at the time. Life begins to take on a new color when I give attention to what's already here. This habit teaches me to look at what I have instead of only at what's missing. Slowly, I notice my mind gets less focused on comparison and more open to the abundance already present. I don't need to wait for something far away to feel content. Each note is a reminder that everyday life hides richness if I choose to see it. And the more I do this, the more natural it becomes to recognize the good side even on hard days. Not because everything is perfect, but because I've learned to shift focus. This practice doesn't erase problems, but it creates a silent strength to face them. And in this space of gratitude, I also feel the need to protect that clarity from the constant noise of screens that distract from what truly matters. Habit 8. When digital silence gives your mind back. I turn off notifications and feel silence fill the space. The phone, once always in reach, stays aside for a few minutes. In that time, I notice how my mind breathes differently, no longer pulled with every vibration. It feels strange at first, almost uncomfortable, but soon it turns into relief. I don't need to be available all the time. By creating these screen-free moments, I discover that time seems to expand. Reading flows, conversations gain depth, even the simple act of thinking becomes clearer. Without excess stimuli, I realize I'm not a prisoner of digital urgency. I can choose when to enter and when to leave, instead of being dragged by algorithms and alerts. This empty space becomes a refuge. And the more I practice this distance, the more I see how the virtual world shapes my thoughts without me noticing. Stepping away from digital noise is reclaiming control over my own attention. In that silence, I can hear my voice with more clarity, and that voice reminds me of something essential. The way I speak to myself defines the path I follow. Habit 9. Speak to yourself with respect. In the middle of tasks, I notice how I talk to myself. Sometimes my first reaction is harsh. You messed up again. You can't get it right. When I hear these internal phrases, my body feels heavier. So I choose to change. I replace judgment with something lighter. I'm learning. I'm not there yet. It's simple, but the feeling shifts completely. Over time, I notice this way of speaking builds confidence. I don't need outside applause when I learn to support myself from within. Every word I choose becomes an invisible brick in the construction of my self-esteem. My inner dialogue stops being an obstacle and becomes fuel to keep going. And when I treat my mind with respect, even in mistakes, I notice life is no longer a constant fight against myself. Self-criticism gives way to a push forward, with less fear of failure. This inner respect opens space for another lesson. Transformation doesn't depend on bursts of effort, but on the consistency of small steps that add up. Habit 10. Choose consistency, not intensity. At first, I chased fast changes. I made intense plans, set huge goals, believed transformation would come from one giant push. But soon came the fatigue, the quitting, the feeling of failure, until I understood the way wasn't in explosions of energy, but in steady steps, even small ones. Repetition is what sustains progress. Now I know a short walk every day is worth more than hours of training that never repeat. Reading a few pages daily teaches more than devouring a book and then abandoning it. Consistency builds a solid base, invisible at first, but impossible to ignore with time. The slow, steady rhythm always beats the rush. And when I internalize this habit, intensity stops being seductive. I don't need to prove anything with big gestures. It's enough to stay true to what I committed to. Life responds to what I do consistently, not what I do just once. In this constant movement, dreams stop being distant and begin to take real form, shaping the future step by step. Now that you've seen how each habit can transform your routine, tell me, which one will you start today? Don't wait for life to change suddenly. Choose one step, even small, and take it now. It's in that daily decision that you stop living on autopilot and start building a different future. And think about it. How many years have already passed repeating the same mistakes, the same patterns, the same excuses? How much longer will you accept that? Life doesn't change because you dream. It changes because you act. If these habits are simple, why not practice them? The answer may lie in how you choose to step out of this video. So I challenge you. What will you do today that your tomorrow self will thank you for? If this message made sense to you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and come walk with me on this journey of change. Small steps, yes, but together, they can build the life you've always wanted.